So today I just quickly wanted to talk about Splice, the 2009 sci-fi bio-horror film. To a degree, I guess you can also say it falls into the mad scientist genre, but this was a Canadian-French co-production with Canada contributing, I believe, 75% and France contributing the remaining 25%. So I believe they were working with a $26 million budget. Originally, director Vincenzo Natali had intended for this film to be his follow-up film or second film to Cube, and it was put on a 10-year hiatus just because at the time he felt that the technology was insufficient to properly tell the story. And I can definitely see that, considering the detail and complexity of the story. You definitely want the creatures or the graphics to match, rather than just having some generic sock puppet and we're supposed to believe it's some totally advanced creature. So I can definitely agree with him on that. So the story concerns two genetic engineers, Elsa and Clive. They are also an item, but they work together, and of course they are the ones who created Fred and Ginger, and unbeknownst to the company that they work for, they pretty much just go behind their backs and create sort of a humanoid creature, just moving forward in trying to work some of their genetic bioengineering. Unbeknownst to Clive, though, Elsa has included her own DNA, so in a sense this spliced creature is Elsa's biological child, which really does cause a lot of complications later on in the film, taking into consideration the fact that she did not inform Clive of her intentions, and the fact that she also becomes very motherly towards Dren, because she gradually does grow attached. She even insists that they call her a name rather than a project or a specimen. So she definitely does take on the mothering traits, especially the fact that she worries about Dren when she is sick or anything else. And of course Clive at every single turn has basically tried to stop the project, because originally the intention was to see if they could bring this to term and then terminate. And Elsa, just always using rationalization, she points out to Clive that, well, Dren's advancing so quickly, developing so quickly, how much longer can her lifespan be? And really, with a creature like that, you may not want to know, especially considering the complications which happened later, especially as Dren enters adolescence, as most people tend to dread that period of any young person's life. But she definitely becomes a lot more strong-willed, rebellious, difficult, but it also shows that she's an independent person, she's an individual, and she is expressing, human traits, despite, being other mixtures. As well as in adolescence, she takes a interest in Clive, which to me is just very odd and incestuous, and I do question that, because I wonder, Clive is basically her father figure, so I don't know if it's just the whole natural instinct of pheromones and whatnot, because to my understanding, even certain creatures will not intermix with their own bloodline. But yeah, that's just kind of odd and gross, and it really does foreshadow the ending of the film as well. So originally Vincenzo Natali had been inspired to create Splice due to having seen a picture of a mouse with an ear grown out of its back, which, just the possibility of something like that just seemed so weird. I just had to Google it, and I found a similar project. I doubt it's the exact same one that he himself had run across, but yeah, if you're interested, I will definitely link that in the description box for you guys to check out. So the film did premiere at the Sitges Film Festival and did win Best Special Effects. It also did win a Canadian award for being highest grossing English-speaking language, and that was the 2011 Telefilm Golden Box Office Award. The film was also nominated for a Best Science Fiction Film, I believe for the 37th Annual Saturn Award, and unfortunately it lost to Inception, but you know, not such a bad film to lose to. Inception was also very interesting and awesome in its own right, but as far as Splice, there's definitely a lot of underlying elements with Elsa and Clive. It's hinted at that Elsa has had issues with her mother, that she may have been either abused or neglected as a child, and that is the reason why she refuses to have a normal child, according to Clive, and you know, whatever in the world that's supposed to mean. But obviously we found out. So, as I've said, she does become motherly towards Dren, and to a degree she also does seem to become somewhat restrictive. In a sense, she is manipulative. She takes away a cat that Dren had taken in as a pet, I suppose just because she wanted some sort of a companionship or connection to another creature, and Elsa just uses the excuse that, you know, this could cause diseases and we don't know what effect it may have on you, so she takes the cat away. Later, realizing her error and realizing that she had behaved in a way similar to her own mother, she decides to give the cat back, and Dren defiantly kills the cat because I'm assuming in Dren's own world, you know, she wants to choose if she wants to have a pet. She doesn't want to be told she's allowed to have one. So she's definitely a very independent, forward creature, and of course Elsa punishes her by removing the stinger from her tail, basically just mutilating her daughter. So I don't know if you would take that to the extremity as comparing it to female mutilation, but she has definitely taken an essential part of Dren's body away from her, and you know, decided she now wants to be a scientist again and use that for study rather than, you know, plain Mama Elsa. So once again, I don't know if it's in an act of defiance or if it's just the fact that Dren really is interested in Clive, but we do touch on an incestuous indiscretion there. And once again, this also does seem to foreshadow the latter part of the film. And the thing that I really enjoyed about this, which seems to be a staple with Vincenzo films, is that he likes to leave his films open-ended and allow the viewer to decide what the ending may or may not have been. So you definitely wind up having to decide for yourself what happened, what was the result of this, you know, so on and so forth. So it definitely does leave you thinking, and it does give the impression that there may have been a potential sequel, but apparently Vincenzo only leaves open-ended films and really, to my knowledge, hasn't bothered with an actual sequel himself, as that's never been his intention. He just wants to cause people to question, which in my opinion is excellent. You know, you are left to decide your own ending rather than have it spoon-fed to you. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.